Hey YouTube, Coppersan here. The Kinesis class is so unpopular that Kain, a class that was released not even 2 years ago, sees more level 250s than Kinesis, who was released 7 years ago. Only 0.5% of all characters that reach level 250 in the game are Kinesis. So what's wrong with this class? That's what we're attempting to find out today in Why No One Plays Kinesis. Like always, I started leveling this class to level 210 to get just a better feeling of how the class plays and tackle some early game bosses. I'm just using the pencil set and do not have any notes prepared, so nothing special besides a full legion board and all link skills at my disposal. Kinesis is a mage that uses psychic points instead of MP, or PP for short. It is the only class in the game that originated from the friend story world, and because of that it also has a very unique story and unique visuals. His mobbing attack is a bit special as well, where you go beat a dude with another dude by grabbing them. Oh, and sometimes he goes off the rails and starts throwing trains around. So let's get right into the grind and see what's up. Overall, your base damage is pretty high, which was nice and convenient for my low-funded character. Grinding was actually pretty fun and not bad at all. Usually it's the mobbing that turns people off, but I was at least having a ton of fun on this class. You can cycle through your 5th job skills, you can push your ball of matter around and throw the occasional train to deal with monsters. The 5th job skill Shockwave is an amazing grinding skill as well. It's like Marksman's split shot, but it's always up. But when you're grinding, you're not only battling with nearby monsters, but also with your psychic points. Keeping those topped up is a must, and this used to be very inconvenient, at least in the past. Kinesis has been undergoing a ton of changes over the last year, removing a lot of his older inconvenient mechanics, changing some buffs into passives, improving his cooldowns, you name it. For example, you can recover Psychic points with your hyper skill Mental Overdrive, with the 4th job skill Psychic Charger, with your hyper skill attack Mental Tempest, and with the 2nd job skill Psychic Drain. The first 3 that I mentioned have cooldowns of 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 45 seconds, so if you want to spam your attacks, the 2nd job skill Psychic Drain is your most consistent bet to recover that PP. While grinding, managing my points wasn't actually too hard, because you need to make sure you're always able to attack. I did add 5 hyperstats so that I could increase my PP to even greater heights, but there still is some clunk. Psychic Drain is your biggest source of psychic point recovery, but it only recovers PP when it deals damage. Because you are attacking as well, there is a high chance you're casting your own skill, limiting your own recovery. Like I mentioned, I was able to recover my points pretty okay most of the time, but when there is that downtime between your longer cooldown skills, it is quite inconvenient that you need to keep this skill in mind to recover your psychic points more quickly. However, with that being said, it's still way better than what it used to be. Another skill that you usually use early on at bosses is your ultimate BPM. This skill used to drain points even when it wasn't hitting anything and would turn off when you ran out of points, but this skill was also over time improved. Now whenever you run out of points, the skill just stops until you recover 3 more points, and then it just turns on by itself again, which is a lot better. I think Kinesis suffered a lot from these smaller issues, bad PP recovery, longer cooldowns, also cooldowns that weren't really in sync, at least on the recovery skills that drain your PP like crazy. This probably turned off a lot of Maplers from playing this class, and with only a level 2 link skill that is very good by the way, make sure to get it, critical damage is very nice, and an in bonus for its Legion block. It isn't a class that Maplers grow for their account that often either, at least not to level 250, more like to level 120, and not even that many to level 200 actually. Another thing that I noticed that was kinda inconvenient is your skill Mind Over Matter. That skill can flow outside of the map, which is kinda dumb and annoying because recalling it is so slow. It's fun to push the skill around to grind though. Not sure how efficient this is, but at least it's fun. Oh, and one more thing that's annoying when you're grinding, you cannot use your 5th job skill Law of Gravity as is. It has to target something, it has to target a monster before you can use it, which is also a bit inconvenient. Would be nice if you could just place that down. Keeping up your points and some clunk here and there is not the end of the world though. Kinesis has high base damage and I would assume this class would be more popular because grinding was pretty okay. But there is another reason why this class isn't picked up as much besides everything that I just mentioned. And that's because bossing on this class can be quite a chore, it's quite annoying. Most early game bosses besides Magnus and Von Bon are pretty stationary, or at least don't move around that much, which is great because if there's one thing this class does not like at all, it's bosses who just can't stand still. Kinesis has a lot going on when bossing. Applying Mindquake and using Mental Press to debuff the enemy. They use Psychic Assault to apply a debuff for damage over time. The Mindquake debuff creates a zone that debuffs monsters, but if the monster then leaves the zone, the debuff will also dissipate after a short while, which is quite annoying. You throw your trains on the boss monster. Trains are quite expensive to throw around though, they drain a lot of your psychic points, and it really sucks if the boss decides, I don't really like this attack, and then it just moves away from the train. Kind of a waste, man. You also have to be quite close to the boss to make sure that your skill BPM always hits. The 5th job skill Mind Over Matter, the orb cube thing that spawns, is not stationary, it will always move. So you have to push it every now and then or control it by pressing the skill button again. But it either moves really slow or really fast if you push it, and just making sure that it always stays on the boss can be quite difficult and annoying. All the while making sure your psychic drain field is on the boss monster so you cover more points. Just manage your points in general while also dodging any attacks and just attacking with your other skills as well. So unless the boss is a sack of potatoes, it doesn't really feel all that great to boss with this class. There are just so many things to keep in mind when you're just working overtime just to get most of your damage off. And we all know that most Maplers prefer the stand still and use one skill method for defeating bosses. In conclusion, I think Kinesis suffered a lot from clunky mechanics in the past, turning off most Maplers. He received quite a lot of convenient changes last year though, which definitely made it a lot more fun to grind and boss with this class. But still, due to its level 2 link skill and legion effect that is only useful for mages, it just isn't the class that a lot of Maplers push to level 250. Especially when bossing is a handful. There are other classes that are just easier to pick, so this class just ends up on the bench as the last pick. Personally, I would love to see some more changes for this class so it becomes easier to boss with. Grinding wasn't too bad, I think it can actually be pretty lazy. And yeah, that's why I think no one plays Kinesis. What do you think of this class yourself, and do you know any Kinesis mains? I heard they're quite rare. Let me know in the comments. And as always, many thanks to our members for making these videos possible. Special thanks to Niels the Coninck, Raar, maar waar, Sebastian, Hanoy, Ryalias, Terry Kim, Vareese, Kaudimora, Wiley, Historycanon, BackSpaceOTI, Saffronyx, Ziggy Deer, Flidiot, Knifesu, Cloudfix, Gussus Rodriguez, Digby, Vira, Trevor, Michael Menchaka, Ratius, Justin Vale, Silvio Nato, Afterlord _MS, Striker Elk, Tidal 1 Pun, Radical Jaws, Riser RU, Sir Tito 655, Mathias Simonsson, PC Game Life, The Passenger, Martin Panzik, Conrad Crystallis, Ace Light, Mr. Narc, Ben Wolf, Max Bernhardt, Muka 1017, BNB King, Scotty Flies Fast, Priscilla, Brennan Cam, Vake Botnet, Feko, Victor Sundstrom, ceemak, Only, Rashid Al-Harudi, Galando Belavia, Gianfranco, Calderon Canavero, Lucky Beats, Matthew Def, Gummy Bullet, Lord Fazil, Spats D. Kaiser, Zunnen, That Archie Guy, Grogo, Gabriel Eck, Louis, Bento Brandao, and Dante Victory. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe and happy mapling.